Hey there, I'm Dee the Dot, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most complex and challenging types of characters to write, morally gray characters. I don't want to bother you with more wait, so let's hop in. What exactly does morally gray mean? I see a lot of people refer to characters that are literally just rude as morally gray, but that's not really the case. I've talked about this in the past, but here's a diagram I made that I think explains it very well. Both protagonists and antagonists have extremely high levels of motivation, just on opposite ends of the moral spectrum. Protagonists typically have high levels of motivation into doing good things, and antagonists typically have high levels of motivation into doing bad things. Meanwhile, morally gray characters are right here, in the gray area. They have no driving motivation in either direction. This is because morally gray characters are self-motivated. I guess you could describe morally gray characters as selfish, because to put it simply, they don't really care about how their actions affect others. They believe the only person they have to help is themselves, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but it can definitely make the character come off as rude or standoffish towards other characters. Okay, now I'm gonna go against what I just said and tell you how to make a nuanced morally gray character, which is leaning to one side of the motivation spectrum. Maybe your character typically only cares for themselves, but deep down or occasionally does things to help other people. And the way it's leaning doesn't have to be one side or the other. Very occasionally the character may decide to do things that help someone else, and other times they might do something to deliberately hurt someone. Just make sure this leaning only occurs occasionally in your character's arc, and only when something really triggers them one way or the other. Basically, your character isn't committing to being a protagonist or an antagonist, it's just very occasionally they make decisions that they know have an effect on other people and care that it has an effect on other people, whether that's good or bad. Hey OC makers, do you ever get stuck on one thing, like one specific part of your drawing that takes 3 million tries and doesn't get easier no matter how many references or random tutorials you watch? Well, that's why this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is a platform where you can choose from tons of online classes to learn so many new skills. Take your average tutorial, like the ones I do, then put them in an amplification machine, break it down into digestible pieces, and have them led by a professional, and boom, you've got Skillshare. Skillshare has creative classes taught by world-class creatives like professional illustrators, renowned graphic designers, and successful entrepreneurs. It is the best place to learn a creative skill or pick up a new hobby. If you're looking to reconnect with your creativity and maybe avoid brain rot, Skillshare is where humans come to learn from other humans. I started my hand drawing course a month ago, and I'm proud to say I have definitely improved. I learned insanely helpful structure tips I've never heard anywhere else. This is where I started out a month ago, and here's where I am now. The class I'm taking is by Fanny Richard, called Drawing for Complete Beginners, Hands Made Easy. I'm being very serious when I say I'm genuinely shocked at how much this helped. The tutorials are all in sections, so you can do a couple at a time if you want, or binge all of them if that's more your speed. I've practiced so much now, and I think I'm really getting somewhere with my hand drawings. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan this handy QR code on the screen will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. You can do it literally right now if you want. Like, right now. Go, click off the video and sign up. I highly recommend. Thanks, let's move on with those morally gray characters. Morally gray characters aren't emotionless. They can experience emotion just like anyone else. They don't even have to be stoic. Someone can cry constantly and still be morally gray. Someone can laugh at jokes and be outgoing and still be morally gray. What morally gray characters do tend to lack is empathy. Empathy is not equal to sympathy. Sympathy means feeling for someone. You can feel the same emotions as that person and try to offer pity or concern or happiness. Empathy is feeling with someone. You put yourself in their perspective and try to process exactly what they're going through. Someone who is morally gray may lack this ability altogether. This may cause the character to describe other people as dramatic. I feel like some people really throw around the term morally gray without even understanding what morals are. Morals are not your personality. Morals are what you believe is right and wrong, and what you do to affect that. So morally gray characters don't really have strong morals in either direction at all. That's kind of the whole point, actually. So they're not really like, this is good, this is bad. They're just like, I'm gonna do what's best for me, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Like I mentioned in the beginning, being a jerk does not equal being morally gray. Morally gray characters can be pleasant, unbothered, or they can be wild, angry, untamed. And in continuation, protagonists can be jerks, and obviously antagonists as well. Morally gray is not someone's personality, just like being good or bad isn't a personality. Why do you think there's so many villains that people genuinely love? It's simply because of their personalities. People don't support their moral decisions, hopefully, but we still get characters like Jinu from K-pop Demon Hunters, who is obviously wildly loved, but morally not the best. Same with characters like the Joker, or Loki, or Regina George. Yes, all three of those antagonists are obviously on the same playing field. So, the same goes for morally gray characters. I couldn't find many great examples, but Captain Jack Sparrow was probably the best example I could find. He's not evil, he's not good, but everyone loves him for being a fun and goofy character. I also thought of Eleanor Shellstrop from The Good Place. She goes through a great arc, but at the beginning, she is definitely pretty morally gray. She's not necessarily a terrible person, but she's definitely not a good person. But gosh, I love her, and I think everyone else who has seen that show can agree. I want to talk about how I personally wrote my morally gray character. Those of you who have read my webcomic Silly Cats Co., which will be getting a season 2 very soon, I want to talk about Acadius' sister, Minnie. You guys have not learned much about Minnie yet, but she is a very morally gray character. Minnie has a lot of haters on my Discord server, for sure, but personally, I really like her character. From what you guys have seen, I understand why you might see her as an antagonist, but that's not really who she is. At the end of the day, the only person she's fending for is herself. Sure, she does snap at Acadius, but deep down, she does care. It's just not really her priority, and I'd like to think she almost completely lacks empathy. When writing Minnie's character, I wanted to focus on how she could affect the story without really affecting herself. When you're writing your character, focus on what kind of things your character can say or do that have a deep emotional impact on other characters. But don't make your character really do it on purpose. Just have them be way too honest or say exactly what's on their mind. Don't have them experience much guilt for it. Don't make them feel proud of it either. They just did what they did and it didn't affect them, so therefore, they don't really care. Last but not least, morally gray characters can change. They don't have to stay in that gray zone forever. Oftentimes, that gray zone is there as a coping mechanism for characters that have been through a lot and stop caring what other people think of them. But forces can drag them towards the antagonist or protagonist side. They can change, and they can change again and again and again. This is what makes a fantastic, nuanced, and realistic morally gray character with a story arc. Before I go, thank you for supporting me financially! To Coffee Beans, Bug Noir, Water, and Ro Robotics for being members of the Silliest Cat tier in my Ko-Fi. Thank you guys so very much for your support, love ya! And thank you to Clearly Noah, Horror Space Collective, Sky Tiburon, Aiden Het, and Saren for boosting my Discord server. That's gonna be all for this video, sillies. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helped.